Remind me also, I do want to give my take on the whole fucking, like, Clanker Discourse thing at some point. Whenever we have, like, a dead moment in air, I think that would be... just because that got brought up on the Fire Emblem 4 stream, and then the idea of, like, calling a unit, like, a staff bot or a support bot, got brought up as, like, oh, you shouldn't do that, because it's, like, pejorative to robot rights or whatever. Slurs are bad. I mean, like, robots aren't people, and I don't think an insult for robots is a slur. I sort of went over this in the previous stream where, like, people tend to just assume insult equals slur, whereas, like, a slur, like, in actuality, has, you know, historical context around it, is often derogative, like, for not just in the it make you feel bad, like, if I call you an idiot, right? If I say, hey, you know, random chatter, you're an idiot, that's mean, and I shouldn't do that. But that's not a slur, that's an insult. Slurs carry, a certain amount of... She's got no strength. It's, like, actually so tragic. Okay, we'll wind edge you. That being said, the whole, like... I've learned more about... Because on stream last time, when people are like, oh, you know, Clanker is this C word, that was the first I'd heard of it, so I didn't know... You know, like, its origin and stuff, and my instinct was that it was just, people sort of, like... concern trolling, or, like, people who genuinely, like, thought they had to stand up for, like, the rights of robots or something. Which is why the way that I dismissed it was, like, I think that's just, you know, people who are chronically online. It felt like a very online thing. I've since learned that it's mostly the idea of Clanker. It apparently, like, came from Star Wars, and it's mostly used to, like, indicate an anti-AI sentiment, which is something that I do agree with. I think AI is bad. But it feels very much like... white people cosplaying racism. It's like this desire to do... It's like acting out on this desire to do bigotry in finding a subject that people, like, generally agree on, at least in left-leaning spaces, people, and even, like, some center spaces and what, right? People seem to agree, like, AI is bad, it's taking people's jobs, it's blowing up the environment, it's doing all this bad stuff, right? And then making it into a, well, let's be, like, why do you have to frame it as let's be racist against AI, right? What is the appeal of calling it racism? And with all of the jokes being, it seems to very specifically be trying to, allude to racism against black people, because so many of the jokes pull from actual, like, historically racist contexts. Like, oh, I'm gonna say Clanker with a hard R. What are you alluding to? What are you trying to put into our brains by referring to the fact that the R would be hard? Use a short knife here. Or I saw one that was like tin crow laws, and I'm like, are you actually taking the Oh, this might be a little bit sketch. Let's put Jules here. I might have screwed this up a little, actually. Because how do you are, like, pretty frail, right? You get 2-shot. So what we can do is you go here. You flux here. That's full-on racism. Yeah, the joke is, let's pretend we're racist. Isn't that funny? And it feels like one of those things where I feel like there is a phenomena of people who would consider themselves progressive, or present themselves as progressive at the very least, who are incredibly eager to do a bigotry, but just towards the correct target. I'm not on Twitter. I briefly had a Twitter in 2020, like around the election time, 2020, and I remember, because, like, you know, the height of political discourse was around, like, Donald Trump and Joe Biden and all that stuff, there was a lot of focus on, I think it was, like, outed that Melania had done sex work, or maybe it was just nude modeling, not even, like, sex work. How much do you do with the tomahawk? You have... Tomahawk is 17 might plus 13 strength, so you do 20, 30. If I heal you with a vulnerary, you do live. So there were a lot of people being, like, supposedly on the left, although, you know, Democrats are not actually on the left, being really sexist about Melania. And I remember making one of the only tweets I've ever made was about that, and I got a bunch of replies from people who consider themselves or presented themselves as being on the left, you know, like they're voting for Joe Biden, who I would not consider even center-left, but in the American discourse is considered to be on the left, right, in the United States. And they were like, you know, well, no, it's okay to be sexist towards this person because she married Donald Trump. She deserves it. Same with, there was a prominent black Republican, I don't remember who, he was like a senator or something, and there were a lot of just like really racist comments about him, and I made a similar tweet about like, why are we being racist towards this guy? Oh, it was the... no, this wasn't 2020, it was 2016, because it was the guy, there was a really stupid candidate, and it was him. Herman Cain, yes, thank you. Okay, so if we do this, we can get this house. And a lot of people... No, it wasn't Clarence Thomas. It was Herman Cain. But yeah, a lot of people pulling just like straight up like watermelon jokes, which is like so disgustingly and transparently racist. And then the response is, well, you can't be racist towards him. He's a Republican. He's supporting all these things that would hurt black people. And it's like, no, you... I feel like... I'm an old man. I've had my time. I'm not leaving this place. Thanks for coming to check up on me, though. Take this for your trouble. I have no need of gold. Oh, nice, the gem. Ooh. David, for God's sake, I can smell you over here. What did your horse run through now? How should I know? Well, at least clean him? It's not time for his monthly wash yet. Monthly? You only clean him once a month? He doesn't care. Frankly, neither do you. You just want an excuse to lay in me. Hide from the fact that you're cowering up there in the air. I'm not! I take offense to that! Yeah, of course you're not. You can go now, Isa. I swear, of all the ungrateful. bonk you. Except if they're a PDF file. Just say pedophile. Just say pedophile. We don't need to do the, we don't need to do the fucking self-censorship discourse again, but, like, just say the word pedophile. If you're gonna talk about something that serious, like, use the real terms. We kill with an iron dagger. Ridiculousness. But yeah, it's just this... I feel like there's this deep-seated desire within, otherwise privileged folks to enact racism against, or you know, any form of bigotry against a acceptable target, and that's what the Clanker thing feels like to me. Rather than criticizing AI for any number of the things that you can criticize AI for, let's make this running joke about how we are doing segregation against AI, about how we're using the word clanker with a hard R to do racism against what's not even a race. Like, robots are not people. This is also the problem I've had with funny internet dwarf posting. What is funny internet dwarf posting? I have not heard about that. Mostly in the Deep Rock Galactic fandom. I will admit, I am... As much as I play DRG, I do not participate in the fandom because I've encountered some fucking vile shit in, like, the few times that I've interacted with the fandom. So, it's not something I'm familiar with. Fantasy racism is still racism. I think the idea of just cosplaying racism in general, it is an immediate red flag to me, and it feels like, again, we've found an acceptable target. Like, if you don't like AI, by all means criticize AI. I criticize AI all the darn time. But turning it into this cosplay of racism, it makes me think of also the sort of, when I was in college, there was a... Because, again, like, white privileged people, just a bunch of, oh, you know, how would you act if it was legal to do violence against black people now? Was like a hypothetical question that just got thrown out at the lunch table one day, as if it was and then everyone engaged with it like it was just a perfectly normal hypothetical to think about. What made you think about that hypothetical word, right? Bringing this up again, but misgendering the wrong trans people. Yeah, or transvestigating, again, tying into the misogyny stuff. There were things like transvestigating Melania, or saying like, oh, Melania looks trans, you know. Donald Trump hates trans people, but look at his wife. And it shows, using that, like, shows the marginalized group, like, you are not their ally. You are more obsessed with just dunking on and owning the people who are, you know, this is alliance of convenience or whatever. Wolf Knight is the thief promotion, and so we've been hyper investing into our thieves so we can promote them. That was all I really wanted to say about the whole Clanker situation, but if you want to see my first reaction to learning that the term Clanker exists, these are the clips of that. They take place about a week prior to the previous clip. The only slur I stand by is clanky, cause fuck AI. What is clanky? Wait, am I allowed? Okay. What is, I don't know if I'm supposed to say that word. What is that? I realize you just called it a slur, so maybe I shouldn't just be throwing it around. What does that mean? Clanker and similars for robots. Okay, maybe I'm just old and this is gonna age very poorly. but that's the stupidest fucking thing I've ever heard. A slur for robots? First off, we do not have sentient robots. So, like, the concept of, like, a slur for functionally an inanimate object, right? Ooh, he got hit. I think he's fine, though. I don't think anyone else can reach him. Enemy attack order saved him. It's not a real slur. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Oh, fuck. It can reach him. Okay, just dodge arrows. Just dodge. Thank you. That's what I'm saying. It's not like... It feels like a slur on the same level as cracker, where it just comes from a fundamental misunderstanding of what the term slur is referring to. Because it's not... A slur is not an insult. I mean, it is an insult, but insult is not slur, right? It's squares and rectangles. If I call you an idiot, right? If I say, hey, you're really fucking stupid, that's not a slur. A slur is targeted specifically at a marginalized group in order to convey the understanding, the idea, you are not welcome here, you are not safe here. Often associated with a history, around that marginalization. Not always, but usually there's a history, right? So, like, you know, the C word, for East Asian people, and specifically Japanese people, but sort of applied broadly to East Asian people, comes from World War II stuff, right? The N-word, I mean, do we have time to go over the entire history of, up into the present day, the way that black people are marginalized and stuff is weaponized against them? Whereas, like, you know, robots or AI, in addition to just not being sentient, they're not like a fucking underclass. Raid alert? What do you mean raid alert? Raid alert. What's... Oh, right. YouTube added that, like, raid feature. I forgot. Ellery sent us. Hello, Ellery fans. You joined at a very weird time. What a weird... Yeah, exactly. What a weird time to raid the stream. Somebody said the word clanker was a slur, and I was talking about why, that's dumb, and I disagree. Sorry to have you walk in on the slur discussion. Fun raid event. Sponsored by not Raid Shadow Legends. Hello, Ellery. How did your stream go? You were doing more Awakening? I saw the notification. You have a new strategy. What is that new strategy? We do not live in the Blade Runner times. Please ignore the Blade Runner set of the past. Are people gonna unsubscribe for me if I say I've never watched Blade Runner? Because I haven't. I'm sorry. It's a piece of culture that I just have not engaged with. I wish we didn't use bot for this side of stuff. Are we gonna do Clanker Discourse again? Is this more of the, like, robot persecution stuff? Cause I don't think, maybe I'm just not woke enough, but I don't think, like, we're persecuting against machines. I don't like the phrase. I mean, like, I don't really know what to tell you.